I know.
man. Timing's
Yo, I
everything.
know. I know, yo.
When did you come back here from Florida, though?
What made me, you said?
No,
Or
when?
when did I come? Oh, about a year ago. But I go back and forth so often, man. But about a year ago, I got back, like being here. I switched it versus staying in Florida and visiting here. I'm like living here, visiting Florida now.
I bet it's a lot cheaper here too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Come on
attempted
in,
to do
around.
some real estate out there, and then I realized real estate was a lot more out in Florida than it was here.
Man, I can imagine what the market is doing down there now. It's got to be crazy.
Well, my house I sold, it went up. I got 20,000 more than I was listing it for.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, I just sold it last month.
That's an average market. 20,000 over? Yeah, that's like that's almost like that's ordinary now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Let me ask you, what do you think about cryptocurrencies, Jody? You into that stuff?
I'm gonna learn. I'm not really into it. Let me tell someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on a broadcast. You get ready to head out?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
bro.
on a YouTube thing. Yeah.
You
So
read it.
no, no, my boy, he's doing a real estate thing, so we talking about it. But I'll talk to you about
Oh,
it.
where?
Yeah, we talk. All right.
Would you say you're going to get into crypto?
Yeah. So like I've been hearing so much talk about it. People are sending me like their numbers. Like well, just this morning, one of my web designer, he's heavy into it, and he told me while he was sleeping he made 3,000 and sent me his numbers. Like he said I woke up and had $3,000 more than I had last night.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm like,
crazy.
wow. So the
It's
crypto
crazy.
thing, it seems like it's I'm still trying to understand it, but it's like I know it's the wave. I seen a sign that said um we have Bitcoin. We accept Bitcoin like an ATM machine. And I
What?
was like, yep, right in the gas station at that. It was a gas station that said it.
Yeah, it's on the
So
way, man.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely
Round up. What up, homies? Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Greetings, class. Greetings. I'm Chris Haskins. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Finally getting somebody here on the channel. I've been looking for somebody, I don't know how many years, somebody to come on and talk about this weekly room rental. Y'all have no idea how many people I've asked to come on and talk about this. Jody, what up, homie?
what's up? What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
Man, it's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, same here, man. Always great to see you.
So I've
Yeah,
been
man. I'm glad we was able to catch up finally. 20 years knowing you. So it's only time we got.
time comes around, time and circumstances change. So tonight, roundup, I literally asked Jody. I put him on the spot. He does weekly room rentals full time. The guy owns a motel. I've been to the hotel. He's a full time entrepreneur. You are in for a treat because this is a niche or niche, depending on where you're at. I don't know. Market for people to get weekly cash flow. Jody showed me some of his numbers. I walked through his facility. It's crazy. Finally, got somebody to talk about this. Jody, give us a little bit of your background. I know you came from the music business just like me back in the day. It was grinding. Before, how did we get here?
Yeah, man. So me and you very similar background. So Chris and I were associated with a lot of mainstream artists back in the days. You can see those platinum plaques on his wall. I got some gold plaques. I don't have the platinums like Chris do, but I'm originally from the music business. I was with Teddy Riley. Did music with Blackstreet. I was with Rough Riders. With Swiss Beats, DMX. You know, that was my music journey for about 15 years,
Mm,
and always wanted to. You know, Music is so volatile. Wanted to. Always had a business entrepreneur mind, and real estate was just the way to go. And so I got into real estate, but I recognized that traditional real estate, um, is kind of slow depending on what type of. If you're trying to buy and hold, if you're just doing a regular buy and hold strategy, it's kind of slow money. But long term is good, but it's very slow money depending on how you do it. So that's how I got involved in weekly rentals because I was able to generate more cash flow doing it, by buying and holding, but doing weekly rentals versus just renting out the whole house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got into the weekly rental space.
Now, was it by design? I mean, was it most of us have a mentor, Jody, but I don't know no mentors teaching this stuff. Did you put it all
Right.
together?
Well, I mean, my stories of how I got into the weekly rentals, like specifically how I got into it. I was telling you why I like weekly rentals because it's had more cash flow when you're trying to do the buy and hold strategy. But how I got into it, honestly, is I one of my good friends now, 15 years friendship. He you know owns hotels, and I had a mobile detailing business, and I used to detail his cars. Now I was doing well detailing cars. Like people don't recognize that type of service. You can make a good living, as far as you know 9 to 5 type, good living. But I was detailing his cars, and I noticed that people were living in the motel, and
Were
I was
you
like,
were you washing cars in the parking lots and
yeah, in the parking
okay,
lot of the motel,
gotcha,
and
gotcha.
and I recognized that people were living in the motel because I would see people come out
Same
in the
people.
morning time. Yeah, and they would come out with nurses outfits on, but they were like, I would assume they were care partners, and they would come out with their home health type nurses,
Uh,
and they would come out of the hotel, and I'm like, were they going to work? People live here? So then I asked him,
in the
do
hotel.
yep, in the motel. So I asked him, I said, do people live here? He's like, yeah, a lot of people live here. So then I had a guy that worked with me in my car wash that needed a place. So I asked him, if I did a trade, let him live here and we will do your car for free. And I'll just work something out with the guy that's working with me. And he said, no problem. And it
That was your
occurred to me,
first. That is that your first kind of experience with doing a weekly thing?
yeah, that was my first experience. Like seeing that was my first experience seeing the weekly
Wow.
space. So I realized that, okay, if you let my coworker, the guy working for me stay here, then maybe he'll allow me to book rooms for him and pay me a commission, similar to like Travelocity Orbitz. And he was like, sure, if you could fill the rooms, sure. So I just started filling the rooms up, and I was getting a percent for every room I filled,
Boom, boom, boom,
and
boom, boom.
that's how it went on. So now I'm actually a part owner in a hotel, and it started right there. So that's just 15-year journey. But Weekly Lodging is my company, and like we book.
Can we see it there? Are you outside or were you
Yeah, yeah. I can show you. Let me
flip the
see.
camera there? Jody is the owner man owns a hotel. Is it a motel or hotel? I don't know. I don't
It's
even know.
motel. Yeah.
Look at this, y'all.
So this is a motel right here. Um, so as you see on my shirt, Weekly Lodging, you can
Hmm.
see it here. Um, but
Okay.
you know, so pretty much that's how it got started. And when I realized that people were living in the motel, um, I started booking rooms, as I said. And then
Boom, boom,
what
boom.
I noticed quickly were these people, they wanted to be out of the motel. They wanted to live in a house. So, we started doing this thing called room to house where we help people move out of the hotel into houses, and
We'll get to all that. We'll get to that.
so we'll talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So I want to get to roundup. So today I wanted to just share with you Jody's story. We are embarking upon something new, like with this weekly room rental. Oh man, look at this, Jasmine. Thank you so much for your love offering. You know I love you. Thank you for being one of my members too, Jasmine. What's up? Look at that smile, Jody. Beautiful smile. Uh, I
Yes.
wanted I
Yes.
wanted to share Jody's story with you because a lot of people think that weekly room rentals are illegal and that you can't do it, including me. I'm like, well, I know a lot of people downtown, like in Newport News, a lot of people, the city cracked down on that stuff. So every city is different. But Jody, what in particular makes you want you? Because you could have recognized that need and just moved on. What made you say, I want to stay in this market and kind of focus on this niche?
Um. Well, like I said, you cash flow better if you're renting out rooms, versus just renting out a whole house. Um. So I grew in different stages. So my first stages were just renting out rooms. Of course, you got to keep it below a certain amount to make it legal. If you try to like do a rooming house where you have like too many people in a room in a house, then it's not a legal thing. But if you do,
Hmm.
different parts of the area is different. But I think it's in some areas it's 4 or under or 3 or under. So you can't like try to fill up a house with a bunch of people. That makes it illegal.
So you had them in the motel, and then you wanted to transfer them out to a house. Tell me about what does that process look like, Joe?
Well, basically, what I would do is, it's different stages. But I'll jump to this stage right now. We buy houses, and then the people that rent rooms from us in the hotels, they, uh, if they show that they're good tenants, they pay on time, and then that's like their credit check, so to speak, and it will help them move from a room into a house because they show
Is
that
there
they have bad credit,
is
because
it
they
is it a
paid on
certain time
time.
frame that you want to rent
Hmm.
from them before you say, okay, well, this dude
Um,
looks like he's credit worthy?
yeah, I like the 2-3 months time span, but it varies. I don't really have a. I like to say 2-3 months of knowing somebody renting. Um, they go through the whole uh, paying, moving from hotel to hotel. Some cities require only 30 days in the hotel. You have to move out to another hotel.
Mhm.
So if I talk to a hotel, if it's not one of my affiliates, then and they tell me they pay on time. Another thing we look for is how they maintain their rooms, if they're
Mm,
trashing the room, stuff like that. So if they're really, there's a lot of people that are just in hard times. They have bad money management,
yep.
bad credit. So that's the people that we try to help move out into the houses and to help them get into a better situation.
So Jody, I'm imagining, is this a wide market, or are you having few people coming along? Tell me about the demand for this need that you're feeling.
Oh, I mean, the demand is big. So what I recognize is a lot of people in position to deal with. I say people in transition. You
Mhm.
know, a lot of people that's in a position to house people that's in transition. They don't they don't try to help them because they're high risk. So it's an open market. It's a big market because people are afraid of dealing with people that's high risk. High risk meaning lower income and that they are bad credit, stuff like that. So they kind of like left to the side, or that's one angle. Or people that's willing to deal with them, they're requiring like 3-4 months deposit. Like 3 months. 3 months. That's 2 months deposit, 1 month security. And it's rightfully so because people do check see if you're a good tenant by your credit history. So it's nothing wrong with the fact they're doing that, but it just leaves that sector of people in a bad situation where it's like a complete cycle. So for
Mm.
me, I kind of like I gamble with that section, because I'm from where I'm from. I grew up, around a lot of that's my I grew up like in the Bronx, so I'm around a lot of people that have bad credit and basically have like a mentality that keeps us beat back a little bit, So
Yeah.
my goal now is to try to help change the mentality and create a situation where they are in a better position, where they can actually own a home eventually.
I really,
With
really
room
sincerely
space is
think
how we're doing it, renting rooms. Yeah,
I really believe you too. I think you're very sincere when you say that.
yeah, no doubt, definitely.
So the thing is trying to help people. So what did your typical tenant look like? Now, before you answer that one, Jody, I want to hear about your tenant. Um, Roundup. I've been on here with Jodie Wilson today, talking about weekly room rentals. I got to pay some bills real quick. This Thursday, don't miss the private money masterclass. I'm going to show you how I have raised millions of dollars to buy and sell houses. I can't believe I'm saying that. Millions of dollars. Buy and sell houses, y'all. 4:30, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. We do not worry about banks. We don't turn in tax returns. We don't even have to worry about a credit score. So join us this Thursday, 4:30 p.m. and Mother's Day weekend starting in Friday at 12 o'clock. Got my boy Dutch. His real estate wholesaling for beginners will be opening. And we're going to give a crazy goodies out for people that support us for the first weekend for Mother's Day. So make sure you do not forget that. And make sure if you're subscribed to the channel, you can't miss it. I'll be interviewing Dutch either Thursday night or Friday just to kind of open this thing up for you. If you're new to wholesaling, you want to learn this text message craziness that Dutch does. He did 20 deals his first year in the business. Make sure you join us for that. Jody, your typical tenant. Tell me about what he or she or them. I don't know if it's couples. What do they look like?
I mean, yes, it's families. It's
Family.
could be women, women with children. You know, married couples, single. It's everyday people. Just people that generally have lower income. Is what I'm dealing with. But it's everyday regular people that I deal with. It's just with our system out here. If your credit is not good, or if you have some sort of like evictions on your record from messing up earlier in age and in life, then it haunts you later. And a lot of people that we're dealing with are typically in that situation. So, but yeah, that's the typical person, everyday person. I would say, believe it or not, people working in offices, receptionists, people working
And we
in
don't even
department
know.
stores.
Somebody we could be working with or know
You know,
could be in a weekly rental, and we wouldn't even have a clue.
yeah, yeah,
That's really interesting, Joey. I mean, you see people from
definitely.
all walks. Good.
Wouldn't have a clue. Yeah.
So, is it something? Because I'm thinking about myself. Obviously, I've been broke, living on my friend's couch, $80 in my pocket. I promise you, I've been there. We weren't born like this. Having a weekly room rental would have really helped me back in the day. I'm like, if I as opposed to just sleeping on my boy's couch. How do people know about this stuff? Or how do they find out about it? Do you advertise to these people? Is it word of mouth?
Um, well, yeah, I mean, we advertise, word of mouth is our biggest thing because it's a community of people. So typically what I find, you know, it's like anything else, word of mouth. People in a situation like that, they tend to know someone else that's in a situation. So word of mouth is a very, very big uh, avenue for getting, referrals for the weeklies.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're doing things like trying to help them get out of a weekly situation. Like, I mean, I can get deeper into the weeklies because when we help people get into houses, we also have what we call a pay it forward type concept where if we help you get into a house, we encourage that you rent a room in the house. So,
Okay. Pay it
this way,
forward.
this way, yeah, it's like a pay it forward, and where you rent a room. You was in a situation, now you have a house. We helped you get into a house. Now you rent a room to that person, um, and that person pays, which helps to lower your overhead, and then that same person that you help, we help them move into a house when they're ready and if they want to, because some people are single and they don't really need a whole house, so weeklies are just what they want, but for the people that want to get into into their own home,
Mm-hmm.
we help them get into it, but they can move into someone else's house for a short period of time. So it's like a cycle where you go from the hotel into a house, you rent a room in a house. We typically so Airbnbs are very popular.
Crazy.
Um, I like to say we are the Airbnb of people in transition. That's a whole other business model. Everyone wants to do the Airbnbs, which I'm not knocking them. It's a a good market,
Mm-hmm.
but they're typically for people on vacation, traveling. I feel like we do the Airbnb for people in need, people that are they're not doing it for leisure. They're doing it because they need to. So,
Yeah,
I consider it like Airbnb for people in need, people in transition. So
that's
it's the
true.
same concept. The only difference is you're helping people and you're making some money at the same time.
Yeah, well, share with our members, Jody, what type of money are we talking for for a room in your house, and how long do people generally stay?
Um, so a typical room is renting from 125 a week to 150 a week. Now the average is more like 150 a week. It used to be 125, but 150 a week. So $600 a month. Of course, if they pay weekly,
Wow,
um, they pay weekly. There's 5 weeks sometimes in a month, so it becomes more than 600 if they charge them 150. Or
that's crazy, man.
some people on disability, they pay 600 every month. So average room will go for about $600. You
That's
know, so
crazy.
you have a three bedroom house, and your rent's, $1,200, and you rent out 2 rooms. That could pay for your rent while you try to build your credit or fix your credit. That's what I try to encourage. To me, room rentals and weekly rentals should be used as a like
Stepping
as an
stone.
asset, to stepping stone to do better, not just to, it's you use it, So kind of like what I encourage. I try to teach people. You have this empty room, or even if you don't have an empty room, you got 2 kids. You might want to put the 2 kids together. You rent the room out. Use that money to pay down your debt that is preventing you from getting good credit. It's called sacrifice. Of course, you have to
Wow.
interview the people, and try to pick the best people. But it's also another fallacy that people that are renting rooms, like, so it's like weird. People trust Airbnb people like they don't, like they're, but then you rent a room to someone, they're like, oh, I don't want to rent a room, but they're Airbnb. It's like weird that when the masses make it uh cool, then it's like a
Acceptable.
cool thing, but if it's not popular, yeah, acceptable. If it's not popular, all of a sudden you're like, you're crazy. I find that, I rent rooms all the time. I rent rooms in my own house, and I'm like, I don't need to, so I don't have that
You
experience. I'm not saying it's 100% all the time,
uh-huh.
but I will tell you that the majority of people, um, that I've dealt with, it's a higher risk market. I'm not gonna try to paint a picture like it's not higher risk than a person doing Airbnb, because there are certain things associated with people that have bad credit. So I'm not gonna downplay that it is a higher risk market, but it's not as extreme as one would think it would be. You know.
So you're saying that people will actually live in the house and rent out a room for a weekly room house for my roundup viewers that own a house, or even just, let's just say, if you occupy a house, you don't even have to be the owner. Perhaps. Is that what you're saying? That if you have a place and you have an empty bedroom, you could possibly just rent it out weekly? Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, I would definitely say
Wow.
if you have an empty room, or you have space, you could definitely just rent it out to someone, and do your due diligence as far as do a little background if but yeah, you know to me, I
That's
typically
crazy.
like, if I see someone that has a job and they have a consistent job, those people generally are good people to go with. Like, it's not like a high paying job or something, but they consistently work. Those are good people. If they don't have consistent employment, I tend to you know shy away from that, because that consistent job, to me, also indicates someone who's just
Character.
trying to do the right thing, trying to get, yeah, character, trying to get to the next level. Just they just making some bad decisions, or just got bad, uh, you know, events going on, so it's taking a while to get back on their feet, But you know, that's kind
It's
of how
funny
it
you
is. But
mentioned
definitely
that.
rent a room.
It's funny you mentioned that because the number one thing that I look for, how long you, well, when I do private pay tenants, I want to know how, even when I do lease options, even if you're giving me a down payment, I'm like, how long you been on your job? And I want to make sure that just that you come on time. And what is your what does your manager say about you? Because from my experience, how you perform on a job is how you perform in life. If you ain't gonna dedicate something to the job,
Yeah,
you ain't gonna dedicate how you paying your bills. And from my experience, what about you, Joe?
yeah, yep. That's my experience too. That's why I say the credit, the credit thing is kind of loaded, because a lot of you know minorities, they're not, the credit, they're not, it's not that they don't
They're
want
not
to pay their
aware.
bills. They don't realize how important credit is. Yeah, they're
They're
not
not
aware.
aware.
Like right
Yeah.
now at the stage I'm at, if I, yeah, they're not aware, so they let it go, not recognizing how important it is. So
Mhm.
you can't just judge someone off of that when they're not aware.
Yeah.
So the employment now, that's a good way of judging people. People are getting more clued in nowadays, but I'm talking about, you know, now people are getting more clued in on how important credit is. But our generation, or the older generation, they weren't aware how important it was to have credit. You
Hmm.
know, not to mess your credit up. They was not aware, that okay, if you have $10,000, I would pose this to someone. If I had $10,000 in the bank and I owed 10,000, and it was gonna mess up my credit if I didn't pay it, I would pay it hands down now because I realize how important credit is, and I would use the credit because I paid it to get money to do whatever I got to do. But I'll definitely get rid of that cash. And most people's like, oh man, I'm not gonna get rid of this money. It's my life savings, or my savings. I'm not gonna get rid of my savings to pay off
Hmm.
a credit card. They don't realize how much it affects them later on.
Yeah, you can always get it
They're
back with
getting more
credit.
clued in.
Yeah, you can
Yep,
you can pay it
exactly.
off. You can go borrow it again. Borrow it.
Yep, yep, yep. I
Hood
was
handyman. Go ahead.
talking
I'm sorry.
to yeah, I was talking to one of my guys, tenants that rent a room for me, and he
Uh-huh.
just bought himself a car, and he needed to borrow some money because he just bought the car, and he has to pay every 2 weeks. Which I'm like, you have to pay every 2 weeks for your car. He's like, yep, and they got like a thing where they shut the car off if you don't pay it.
The
So
low
he
jack.
came to me to borrow some money. Yep, he came to me to borrow some money, and I got to talking to him and found out that he was paying like almost 30% interest on that car. I was like, are you serious? Like 28%. It was like ridiculous. And I was like, you know what? It's crazy how much money. So the people with bad credit, they getting double jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's crazy.
You're right, man. Jasmine here. That's a good point. Jasmine says there's a such thing as working poor. I didn't know that. Sad situation. Glad people like you, Jody, make it easier for people to get back on their feet. Thank you for that, Jody.
Great. Thank you, Jasmine.
I want to tell you, Jasmine, too, and my
Appreciate that.
rounduppers, when I met Jody, he's running some stuff by me about how to help these people. I remember, Jody, I told you I had this conversation with one of my mentors, and I was asking her about that because that tugs at me a lot too. I want to help my people. She told me she's given people
Yeah.
people houses, cars, and she says that some people choose to be in this situation, Jody, and you can't help everybody, unfortunately.
Yeah. What I find when you told me, you mentioned that to me, what I find is that we gotta ignore it, even though it's facts, because like people sometimes say, with minorities, black people in particular, I'm talking about, that in business, they they're late or they don't complete jobs, like, so I'm not giving my business to them. What I find is that that might be true in some cases. I think it's true across the board, but we just, with us, it's like
Yeah.
really just highlight
Across
it.
the board. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I would say to your mentor is, like, sometimes not to your detriment, but you got to ignore it and just keep going, because we have to
Just keep
uh,
pushing.
keep pushing. Like, my goal is, like, me. I'm like, I'm not against um, growing with everybody. I don't want to isolate myself from any other race, but I do want to push the black community just so we can catch up. Because when you're playing equal, then we're peers. So I'm just trying to play the catch up game. I don't want to, like, not deal with white businesses, but I do want to help black people level up so we can be playing eye to eye. So
Good point.
that's my goal.
Good point, Joe. Well, thank you for helping these people, man. Because I know a lot. Matter of fact, the majority of the landlords I know have no clue, including myself. We have no clue how it works. No clue how it works. And
Yeah.
I'm just honored that you can bring this message. Round up. Any questions you got for Jody? Put them in the chat over there. I'm going to have him for a few more minutes. We've already been here 30 minutes, Joe. Weekly room rentals. Weekly room rentals. Tell me about, is it high maintenance, Jody? You got people ducking you, people trying not to pay? What up, Hood Handyman? Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for your love offering. Joe?
Yep. What you said?
I said, tell me about the maintenance. Is it high maintenance? Do you have people trying to duck you? Because I had a friend of mine, my boy D, did one downtown Newport News. They came together and did a coup against him, tried not to pay, and they came together, said they didn't owe him. He had to go to court. It was just a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, it's a high risk, but I think it's across the board, man. I think it happened even with people that aren't in situations like that. They try to get over sometimes. They might nitpick certain things and try to get over. So I think in general, you got to deal with that. But yeah, we do have a higher risk market. That is a fact. But there's when you deal with high risk, there's also, higher rewards.
Bigger
So it's
pay.
kind of like one of those type things where you just gotta pick and choose. But as far as ducking you, I think yes, that happens. But my experience isn't overwhelmingly like overwhelming that people are trying to duck you. It's the people. You can talk to them, you respect them. Another thing too. You when you make people feel appreciated, you
Yeah.
know, not like you're
Grateful.
trying to like you're better than them because they're in a situation in the room. People respond. My
They do.
experience is that not like overall there's bad apples. It's a high risk market, but I I honestly feel like you know it's just we're scrutinized more, but it's not as high risk as you would think. As people would think.
Well, I
That's
want to know
how
about
I
the.
would.
Tell me about the management and collecting rents. I know for me, all my tenants do direct deposit, or they might do a cash app or something like that. Tell me about the management, Joe. Do you? No doubt you're not driving around collecting rents. You got somebody doing that for you, or how does that look?
Well, that part is definitely a challenge. Because most of the people they're using they don't have bank accounts because another thing that happens when you're in people in this situation, a lot of them don't have bank accounts because when you have bank accounts you overdraw and you get all these
Overdraft.
fees, and then you don't have a bank account, you
Overdraft.
don't overdraft. So a lot
I've
of people
been
don't
there.
have bank accounts, but they do have. Yep.
I've been
Yep.
there.
So they have those they'll get those debit cards that they have now you buy from 7-Eleven or Walmart, those cards, so you can actually do banking and stuff like that. So,
Stored
but it
value
makes it
card.
difficult to yeah, but it makes it difficult to like have your payments sent to you, via banking, stuff like that. So most of my dealings are, cash, or money order,
Okay.
that you have to see them and pick it up, you know.
So we will.
Yeah.
That is well. I guess for I want my rounders to know. My thing is, Jody, transparent. It's the truth. You do this every day. I've seen you in action. So I'm like, I want people to know that this isn't. You make more money, just like with Airbnb. We make a lot more money, but it's a lot more management intensive. I got to make sure the place is clean. Do you furnish these places, Jody? Tell me about what a bedroom looks like
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the on the
yeah,
house
they
side.
generally have, yeah, on the house side, yeah, you furnish them. You generally have like full or queen size bed in the room, TV.
Gotcha.
Like I offer cable because that's another thing I like. People have when they're there, they're comfortable, so they have cable, internet, and any of my house they have internet cable. They stay longer that way and they're more comfortable while they're
Mm,
working on their on their next move. So yeah, but they'll have furniture, have a bed, cable, internet in the houses, and
sweet.
yeah, I mean pretty much all the amenities. They'll share the kitchen, you know. Like I said, I don't never have more than I don't do more than like say 3 people. If I do a house, it's no more than 3 people in a house.
Gotcha.
Um, and
Gotcha.
then in some cases I do like what Airbnbs do. I'd rent out the main part of the house, and I have a
Mhm.
section where there's one room, and I would do some sort of deal with the person who has the main house. So basically, I call it the 80/20 house. The person who has the lease has the main section of the house,
Mhm.
and that's the 80 part, and then the 20 part be a room that they're renting,
Mhm.
and the person who has the main part will get a reduced rent, and I would make you know more money because I'm getting rent and some of the room rent. So I'd make more money off of that particular rental. So both of us are winning. And then the person has that, the person renting the room, has that option of getting his house. And we do the same thing with him,
Wow.
where they have the main house, get a tenant to rent from them,
Mhm. Mhm.
and keep it moving that way.
Does the tenant that rents from you, do they assist with collecting rent, or do you collect all that on your own?
It varies depending on your relationship with the tenant. The main tenant. I like for the tenant to deal directly with the person renting the room because they're the ones,
Yeah.
in it. And then I just work with them, the tenant directly. So basically, how I do it, I refer them. I don't ever tell them, all right, you rent the room to this person. I get you the house. We have an agreement to rent the room, and we'll
Yep.
split the profits from the room. So that reduces their rent, but I'm
Yeah.
actually making more because I'm getting half for the room, and then I'm getting the tenants, uh, rent. And then, but what I do, I just refer them, and when I refer them, they interview them. If they like them, then they'll rent the room. They'll okay the rental of the room, and then they'll deal with the tenant. And that works out pretty well.
I bet. Hit that light, Joe. I can't see you. The light went out.
Yeah.
Can you hit the light?
Oh, it's getting dark. It's getting
Yeah.
dark outside. Let me see. Maybe I can
The
turn the
light
light
was
on.
on a minute ago. It went off.
Oh, let me see.
The light above your head.
That
There
make
you
it
go.
better? Yeah, that
Yeah,
make
it
it
looks
better?
good.
That's
Yeah,
better?
it looks good. You're good. Yep, you're good.
Yeah.
Jodie Wilson, round up. I got you for 35 minutes, Joe. I'm gonna get to open the floor for some Q&A if you don't mind. It's
Okay,
really
no
cool
problem.
to see this in action. I know a lot of people don't like Jody. Why is it people don't like? I don't know. You don't know. You don't know how many people I've asked to come on here and talk about weekly room rentals. They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. It's
Why is
weird to
that?
me because it's when you talk Airbnb, it's like I don't know how to describe it the way articulately enough because when you do Airbnb, everyone's all Airbnb. It's like you're you're doing such a trendy thing, such a cool thing, but then if you're renting a room, which is the exact same thing, then all of a sudden it's like you're renting a room. It's just crazy the mindset.
Taboo.
But I mean, yeah, it's like taboo. Like on classist thing. I don't know.
Same thing. Same business model.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. One is people that are entertaining, traveling, or vacationing. The other are people that are in transition. They're in a transitional situation. And the idea that they're all bad is not true. Like I do recognize it's a higher risk market, but it's not as extreme as they paint a picture. The picture's painted.
I'm telling you, man. People not want to talk. It's not like you don't die. You don't get in trouble and you don't get beat up. I think the same stigma with Section 8. I'm like, I got tons of Section 8 tenants. I have my problems with it. Ain't like I didn't get stabbed. It's like
Yeah.
nobody threatened my life and I didn't have any
Right.
major
Right.
issues.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna tell you what I think a big problem is. What I noticed. Um, this is a real big problem that I noticed with people like Section 8 or people renting rooms. People tend to talk down to them because they seem like they're struggling, and they pick up on that, so they
They
retaliate.
do.
They
They do.
so if you give them like show them respect, treat them like they should be treated, they tend to even if they flip off quicker, if you treat them and talk properly to them, they tend to catch themselves. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's like what you give off is what you get back. So I see a lot of that happening because, the energy you give off because they are in a transitional period. So but I
That is
think it's for
so
the bigger picture,
crazy.
man. We got to do this for the bigger picture. Try to. It's not just about like me. I make money doing this, but I definitely have a side where I just want to try to help because I think it just feels dope if you can make money and help someone at the same time.
That's right. It's funny you mentioned that, Jody, because every one of my Section 8 tenants, every one of them, I'm like, man, I treat them with the utmost respect, treat them with empathy, compassion.
Hmm.
You don't know where they're coming from. They could have had a loved one
Right.
die, and that's why they're in the system. They could have somebody get sick, had a child get sick. You don't even know what it is. So what I found out, if I gave these tenants a clean place to live in and I treated them like a human being with decency, they would appreciate that even more as opposed to another landlord that's going to take them for granted just because they're on the system. Like if I'm like, look, man, I'm
Right.
thankful. I'm telling them, I'm like, listen, thank you for choosing our unit. I'm letting them know that you could have chosen anybody's unit out there. I'm like, listen, birthday card, Christmas card, thank you for being here. And it's like, dude, they treat me like a
Yeah.
king. It's like they don't give me a hard time.
Yep. Yeah. That's it right there. That's the key. That's the key. Because energy is real. It transfers. You
It's
know,
crazy you
it
mentioned that. Yeah.
transfers. So like that's what you're giving off that energy. You get it back. And a lot of people in hard situations, they get a lot of negative energy. I'm not saying
Mm,
that they're victims because they create circumstance for themselves. But when you give off that negative energy, it comes back, you know.
Yeah,
So
you're
that
right.
I'm a big proponent. Even with the hotel, like we rent a lot of rooms to people. I try to make sure everyone feels respected. You know, it's tough sometimes because you do have a level sometimes of ignorance, but you know, I try to like understand that they're going through a transitional phase where they might be more
Hmm.
agitated. So you try to show some love with it, and it comes back around. You know, so most of the time, like I said, it's nothing's 100%, but
Nothing.
it's not as bad
That's nothing.
as the people would see. But on the weekly rental side, there's a lot of you know, room to help and make money. You know, with this model, you know, it's like Airbnb for people in transition. That's definitely a market because now you're doing good by somebody, and you're making money at the same time.
So for somebody watching this, Jody, and they perhaps may even need a room rental, or if they know somebody, how do they get in touch with you, brother? Do they email you, social media, call the office? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just look at weekly lodging. Um, you know,
Typing it in now, y'all. Weekly lodging. I'm putting Jody's information in the chat. You never know.
yeah, yeah, you know, just
Weekly
referring, and
lodging.
that's
So Jody, thank you for your time. I had you for 40 minutes, man. I got Patrick wants to know he rents by the week in California for his roommate. If they stay and you don't get along, you can just boot them. In California, you got to give them a 3-day, then 30-day, then go to court. Yeah, that's if you do a regular tenant. Tell me about when you have problems, Jody. How do you rectify those situations? Do you have some type of protocol? Because no doubt, not all tenants work out, just like with anything. Joe?
yeah. I got you now. I lost sound for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The
You want me
phone.
to repeat that?
Yeah, because I didn't hear anything.
So I'm saying, what happens if if a tenant situation doesn't work out? How do you get them out, get somebody else in new? Is that challenging to do that? Because not every tenant's going to work out.
Okay, so what I found, um, it seems like it's changing a little bit right now, but the overall, what I found is that you rent rooms,
Mhm.
attachment is less because the person doesn't necessarily feel like it's theirs. You know, like when you rent a house to somebody, they're living in the
Oh man, I'm you losing you, Joe.
called in. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it ain't gonna work at the phone ring.
Yeah, that's why I got it. Next time I'll make sure I shut that off somehow. So
So you said having a house feels more attached. Go ahead.
yeah, so people feel more attached to when they rent a home from somebody. So if you need them to leave because they're not paying, you know, they don't want to leave because they have all their. It's like it's their home. You know, when you rent a room, it tends to be a different vibe, different feeling because they rent a room for them. It's always temporary. This is like I'm doing this to get to my next stage. So if
I
they're
got you.
not paying, it's easier, and plus they have less attachment, less belongings. So, you know, I find that getting someone to leave if they're not paying, you know, usually just tell them, hey man, if you can't pay, you know, give them a week or two. Try to help work with them, of course. And if they aren't paying, and you know, you tell them to leave. It's like I said, not all the time, but most of the time, I would say, you know, 80 to 85% of the people will leave. And you got your 15% that might, you know, take advantage of the system and stay. You know, but that's how I'll give it 80, 90% of people in my experience to leave without giving you a hard time. You know,
Yeah,
a really hard time.
it's not like they got their own refrigerator and couches and all that stuff. That they're set up shop. It's kind of almost like mentally they can move out quicker.
Yep, definitely that. But I also feel the attachment is not. They don't feel like it's their home. It's like
Yeah,
I'm renting a room for somebody, you know, so they don't feel like they're in their home. So it's kind of like
gotcha,
so
gotcha.
between that and the fact they don't have a lot of those, you know, fixtures to have to
Hmm.
take, you know, those two things make it easier for them to like, all right, I'm gonna leave, you know. And
Sweet.
again, like I said, if you know, you have a good relationship with people, respect them, you know, people aren't as bad as they seem, you know. Like I said, that's the percent of people, but not the
Not the
majority.
majority,
Yeah.
not the norm.
Yeah.
Cedric Earl, he said this is done in Omaha, Nebraska. He lived in one for 4 months. Wow. Stuff's
Wow.
real popular, man.
Yeah.
Robert, this the economy will need this coming sooner than later due to the possible fall of the economy. Jody, do you foresee as we get out of this Corona thing and the printing money? Do you see demand getting higher or lower for you? No doubt, as credit as mortgages get more defaults.
Um, I see it getting higher. I see it. I never seen it. I think it's gonna be around. Like I don't know that it gets getting higher, but I do know that it's always in demand. You know what I'm saying? It's not a. It's like the market is a forgotten market because people, don't like they don't want to lend a hand. They don't trust that market. So like people, landlords, people in positions. So the room market's always going to be there. So as far as it getting more in demand, I just feel it just stays in demand.
Just in
That's what
demand in general.
yeah, it just stays in demand. Now if the market takes a dive or, based off of the post corona, I'm not really sure about that one because I'm curious to see how that's gonna play out, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I definitely know the demand is gonna be there. What I noticed about this business, which having the hotel, what I noticed is that we're almost recession proof. And the reason I say that is because you have people that are already in the transitional phase.
Hmm.
So we got that business. Then say the economy gets hit hard, the people that are more middle class, they are step above, middle class, step under middle class, they're gonna come down to this stage. And if it gets even worse, the people that are like middle class, they're gonna come down. So we got like 3 or 4 layers of people having to come down to us
Wow.
before we're really out of business. You know?
It's crazy, Joe, man. You're a master dog. I'm like when I walk through Jody's operation, I'm like, round up. I cannot wait to have a camera there and show them what you offer, Jody, man. Can we maybe do that one day? I got to put you on the spot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I want to spread the word and you know, definitely want to get the word out so more people start doing it, help other people out. Because like I said, it's a way to earn money and help people. Turn your room into
Yep,
cash.
that's crazy. Cash. What'd you say? You said you had a slogan.
Cash for rooms. Cash.
Cash.
Yeah, yeah.
You wow, Jodie Wilson, y'all. We're talking about weekly room rentals. I got a bunch of questions here. Listen, guys, join our membership if you like. If you like the content that we bring you here at the Roundup, there's a little button there right below to say join. I'm just asking you. I want to give my busy professionals and entrepreneurs just a little something extra. We will answer your questions first. We'll skip down to your questions first. This will not work on an iPhone. It will not work on an iPhone. So you got to go to a computer or Apple to do that. So if you want to get your questions answered first, it's going to cost you nothing but a Starbucks coffee, large Starbucks coffee a month to support the channel and help me continue with this stuff. Ah, man. Joshua says rooms are big in Memphis. That's all I do, but monthly rooming houses. Oh, that's cool, man. So you do some monthly too, don't you, Joe? You told me that you just charge some people by the month too.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely do monthly. We basic with the hotels, you just pay for four. It's not really a monthly. What we do is offer a discount. You pay for 4 weeks. You know, 4 week rental, but we give a discount for it.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, looks like you got a good message here. We got 60 people on here. Jody wants to hear how this thing works. It's really cool. Really cool. TTOO, renting rooms are difficult and certain cities are difficult with landlord laws. Have you experienced that at all, Joe?
Yeah, that's what I learned. Obviously it's trial and error when if you don't know that it might be something you can do. So what I've learned years ago now, of course, I learned, um, you know, in Virginia anyway. 3 rooms. It varies. I hear different things, but to play it safe, if you have 3 rooms or under, you're safe. You know, if you're trying to do 4 and 5 and 6 people in the house, then those things are kind of taboo and could be against the rules.
Hmm.
So I don't do over 3 people, at all. And until I do a room, I try to actually just do 2. Like my business model, like I said, I try to get people because I move people from the hotels into houses. So my main business model is the 80/20 concept where you I rent you the whole house, but you got to rent one room to someone. For me to get you into the house, move you from a room into a house with no credit, no deposit. The trade-off is you got to rent a room to help somebody else, pay it forward, and we'll split on that room. So it gives you a lower rent, and I get a higher monthly income because I'm getting part rent from you and part rent from the person renting the room. So everybody's winning in that case.
So let me get this straight. You got a tenant in your motel that's living there. They've shown to you, they've proven to you that they're doing well. You like them. They want to. You're moving them to their own house with a lease, and they are renting out a room under
Right.
that lease.
Right. I would give them. They give the main tenant the lease. It's their lease. But in order for me to do that,
That's
you have to
crazy.
and I'll move you in without a deposit because you already
No
proved
deposit.
no deposit, but you have to rent a room. And once you're willing to rent the room, um, then we'll split on that room. So your rent's
Sweet.
$1,000 a month, and I'm saying for round numbers, if it's $1,000 a month for rent, and you have to rent a room, we're getting 600. So now we're at $1,600 a month, right? You're getting 300, so now you're technically paying 700 for rent, but I'm getting 1,300 versus 1,000. So I'm making
Gotcha.
money on my rental
Gotcha.
that you're paying less for your house, for your
Gotcha.
house that I got you, and we're helping the person who needs a room. So
That's
everyone's
sweet.
that's
Sweet,
that's
Jody.
that's my particular business model now. I kind of like that as the model to grow. But then you have some situations where you have single people that need a house or want to be out of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You might do the 3 room and under with them because it's single people. So there's 3 people in the house and they do something like that. Rent it
Gotcha.
together.
Robert, hey Robert Mitchell, how does Jody help these consumers? Do you create? Do you do? Does Jody do credit repair? And do you do debt validation letters? 15 USG 1692G for consumers. Isn't credit out the window via the executive order? Trust Biden. I don't know what that is, Jody.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I know that like I said, we're constantly trying to, you know, offer more things to help people in situations to help them move out. But we're getting ready to offer credit repair, but not charging. Like so, I purchased like some credit repair courses, and when people rent rooms through me, I offer them the course.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to act on it. But they got the course that I purchased that they'll have access to. They are, and if they are serious about getting their stuff together, they can study those courses and take action and help fix their credit. But I don't charge for that. That's just something that I'm doing. That's actually something we're implementing now, to help
Gotcha.
their credit.
Gotcha. Chris Birch wants to know, what market are you in, Jody? And do you think this will work in almost any market, urban versus suburban markets?
Oh
Good
yeah,
question, Chris.
yeah, they're actually doing it. That's another thing, Chris. What it's funny to me. The urban market is kind of not say taboo, but it's like high risk. Like, wow, you're gonna do that. Suburban market, they do it all the time. They have a company called Loftium
Mm-hmm.
that they do it suburban. Basically, what they do is if you rent a room, they'll rent you a house, and if you rent a room, if they Airbnb, how they say it is, if you rent a room, we'll let you rent a house from us at a discount, but you have to Airbnb a room. So it's the same thing. Like
Same
me, I'll
thing.
rent a room to you in a house, but you have to rent out a room to help somebody. You have to rent to a room renter.
Mm-hmm.
The company Loftium, look them up. It's a cool idea, but it's for people that are in suburban areas, areas that are more expensive. But
You
it's the
told me
same
about that.
thing. You have to rent a room in order to get one of their homes to rent out.
TTOO says it's kind of like a master renter. Yeah, that's a master lease, maybe. John Lewis, I do room rentals. Cool. My tenant avatar is someone who gets disability or SSI. They appreciate being on the bus line, near grocery store, and the bank to make rent deposits. He prefers monthly payment schedules.
Yep,
He
that's
says the management intensive has to be built for it. Would you say you got to be built for it too, Jody?
uh, I think. Can you hear me with this rain? Come out, car?
Yeah, he. Yep.
I think that man, I mean I kind of feel like it's an energy thing, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
What the person's saying isn't false, but I think it's an energy thing.
Gotcha.
Crazy it might sound, 'cause I don't necessarily have a lot of energy. I don't have a lot of like aggressive situations. I mean, like it's happened, but it's not typical. It's not the norm.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I think when I say energy, I feel like if you're in a uh, it's a tough one to explain because what he's saying isn't incorrect. I couldn't say that you don't have to be built for it, but my experiences is not much different from renting to anybody else.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That's how I could say it.
Mary Ann Shelton, hey, thank you for supporting our channel. One of our members. Great evening to you too, and Jody. I rented monthly rooms for 22 years. Holy cow, Westchester County, New York. There is an increasing market for affordable lodging, especially for single individuals. Wow, that's crazy, Joe. 22 years.
Yep, 22 years. Yeah,
Wow.
I've
I
been
bet
doing
she.
it a while too. So yeah.
Digital parent. I do room rentals for people on disability or SSI. Do you see that a lot, Joe?
All the time. I do. I have a lot of that as well. Uh,
Really? I gotcha.
yep, all the time. So it's just unfortunate, but yeah, it's like a lot of people on disability, that society, like by themselves, and they're renting rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely like sad in some cases because they're older generally, and they're by themselves. But
Yeah.
um,
Everybody got to be served, though. You got. I mean, everybody has a need.
yeah,
B Swool, is this almost like an extended stay, Jody?
yeah, it's definitely an extended stay. Or with the hotel, it's definitely an extended stay. But the difference, um, there's a difference with the motel extended stay concept. The extended stays are really, really expensive. So some people in transition, they can't do it very long because they're paying $450 a week in some extended stays.
Mm-hmm.
So the motels, in particular what I do, we try to have a more affordable type rate, where it's more affordable to stay until you get on your feet. But it's definitely
Gotcha.
extended stay concept.
Mm-hmm. Round up, get your questions in here. We've been on. I got Jody. Got 60 people on here. Jody, thank you so much. We're talking about weekly room rental. Weekly room rental. I've always wanted to know about this stuff. I got my boy D. Whew, man, they sucked it to him, but I think he was asking for it though. Are the areas any different, Jody? Let's say a downtown news or a Park Place in Norfolk or Huntersville, as opposed to a Ghent. Are there going to be different caveats that come with different areas, or are they all the same?
Nah, definitely different caveats. Like if you're in like a really uh, hood area, it's definitely. I mean, the truth is, if you're buying properties, like in my case, if I buy a property in a real hood area, there are people that live in that area and they're comfortable in those areas. So I don't have many properties in like the heart of the hood,
Uh-huh.
but I have one or two, and actually it works out fine because the people that live there are used to being in those areas.
Yeah,
Like I
they're
said,
coming home.
yeah, yep,
Just coming home.
yeah. So I don't. It's just like if you move someone who's not used to like a rough neighborhood and moving there, it's going to be a big deal to them. But yeah,
You know what's weird, Joe? I was thinking when I lived in Jersey City, I used to love hanging in those neighborhoods. I mean, it was like I get my beer, hanging. You sit on a little joint, people walking by, what up?
yeah,
And I didn't even notice it.
yeah. Hmm.
Now I'm like, man, I wouldn't go. Man, I wouldn't want to go back. With kids, I'm like, with that type of stuff. But it was almost like it was exciting to me because it was foot
Right.
traffic.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's true. Because when you come from, it's like home. It feels like home. Someone else be freaked out. They're like, what? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Well,
say, with renting rooms, weekly rentals, renting rooms, the area, you know, is subject to the people. If they live in that area, they're comfortable. You know,
uh-huh.
it works just as good in that area for the people that want to live in those areas, that's used to living in those areas.
Hey, Helping Hands wants to know Are you concerned about people trashing the house and damaging anything, Jody?
Again, so that's the why the market is such a good market, because people that are in positions to do it are highly afraid of those type of things. Like they feel like that clientele are like dangerous. They're gonna trash. They're gonna everything negative. And that's why. So that's why the market's so good for people like myself who do it, because the people that are in positions to do it are scared to do it. So to answer the question, no. People, the trashing it, I mean, I'm not saying it never happened. If it happened, I've been doing it so long, I can't think of a time. I know it has happened, but I can't think of a time. So that meant it happened maybe once, twice, times maybe in my
I
career.
hear this all the time with Section 8, Jody. And people like Section 8. I'm like, dude, do you know I haven't worried about rents not one time since I don't think about rent. It's like, it's like everybody's different, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Be Sewell. You gotta have a manager. We did that. I got a few more questions, Jody. How you good? How you doing on time, bro?
I'm good, man.
Um, Somebody says we gotta be right for high frequency, my friend. That's absolutely right. High frequency. Jody, Lisa wants to know: do you ever go up on the rent?
Um, well, the room rent, because like I said, my concept, what I try to do, I always try to be at the lower end, right? Because truthfully, like I said, I'm not trying to um give off like I'm trying to do this just to help, because I do it as a business to make a living. But
Mhm.
my underlying things try to help. So I don't try to get more. Like even with the hotel, like say the hotel is at capacity, which we stay at capacity. If someone comes and
Crazy.
I'm left, I don't raise the rent because I have, one room left. So now let me get the most money I can, because I'm like, I know the people I'm dealing with, they have low income. So I don't feel
Hmm.
trying to charge more. So I keep my rates. If I have 100 rooms open, or if I have one room open, it's the same price. I don't raise it, but I always have it at the lowest rate that I can. When I look at the market, I'm at the low end of the market. Try to make it more affordable. So as
Sweet.
far as raising rents, it I can't. No, $600 is the going rate. So I try to get that, which is like an average rate for a room rental if you
Gotcha.
have a size room. So I don't raise the rent. Um,
B.
current.
Sewell says, "Thank you, thank you. Look at that baby, beautiful little baby."
Yep.
Papa, happy new Papa. Healing through inspiration wants to know, Jody, how would they get started? How would they get started doing a room rental?
Um, But if you're talking homes, not hotels, if you're talking about how to get started, pretty much if you want to buy a house, that's easy. If you want to rent a house, you just gotta you have good credit, you can go to a
You could rent the house and then rent the room. That's what you're saying. You don't even got to own the house.
no, you don't. You do gotta have disclosures. So basically, if a landlord is willing, and be honest with you, if you have a landlord and that buys homes in like lower income areas, those landlords generally are just buying those homes to make money. They're investors. They're
Yeah,
not property at all. All they want to do is make money on it.
yeah.
Um, so basically, if you approach a landlord in a lower income area, and you have good credit, and you can show that you're credit worthy, and you let them know that you're doing a Airbnb style rental for people in
Mhm.
position, just keywords Airbnb, because for some reason those words make it sound like it's you know it's a good
Politically correct.
correct, Airbnb style thing. But for people that you're trying to help, that's renting, to rent a room, let's say you get the room for $1,000 a month, and you rent it for 600. You do have utilities, but you can include utilities. So depending on, like, every situation is different. So I'm just painting one picture. You know, each tenant can pay a section of the utilities. So it's three tenants, because I don't like to go above three, but depending on your area, it's up to four. You know, four,
Mhm.
but they each pay part of utilities. You know, you can make yourself figure what if it's $1,800 a month. Your rent's 1,000. You know,
That's crazy, Joe.
you can make, I'd
Talk
say,
about
500 to keep it more realistic, because it well, if you buy in a lower income area, yeah, you can definitely find rents at 1,000, 1,000, 1,200. You definitely can do. and you can walk away with $600 a month from a room rental. And if you do that, over a few rentals, you can make a decent amount of income every month from it. So you definitely can do that. So people compare it to Airbnbs where you can make $1,000, $2,000 a month off an Airbnb. So it's not necessarily Airbnbs are getting very saturated with that. This market isn't, and you're helping at the same time.
With Jody, I'm here with my boy Jodie Wilson. We got 70 people on here. Jody, get your questions in, round up with Jody very quickly. LaShawn Trouble, thank you so much for supporting our channel, one of our members. Thank you so much. It's an honor to serve you. Marianne Shelton, I never had a problem with property damage. My tenants were required to pay security deposit. Do you do a security deposit, Jody?
So that's another thing too. It's a good idea, but I don't. I don't do security deposits. It's just part of what I do because most of the people that I'm dealing with aren't, they're tight. So I don't do security deposit. It seemed to work out for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that people take it. But like I said, for me, when I say energy, I really mean that. It's like different energies create different situations. And for me, I don't do security deposit and it works for me. But someone else could really lose their shirt by not doing that. So I wouldn't say don't do security deposit, but for some reason with me it works without doing it. So it's hard to explain it because I don't
That's
think
cool.
it's a good idea not to take a security deposit based off of the risk you're taking.
John, he says his guy spends most of the time in the room, never trash the place. They go to the kitchen and cook, go to the basement to wash clothes, and that's it.
That's it. Let me tell you, what he said is what the experience I have. Like I rent rooms in my own house at times.
Wow.
Because she's like, we don't do it. So, but I'm like, if I have an empty room, I feel like I'm like wasting money, So,
Me too. That's
so
a true entrepreneur.
Yep. So but what he said is so true. Like I rarely ever see anyone. Like it's crazy. Like they get up, they go to work, you don't see them. They're in their room 99% of the time. They work and they come home and come to the room and they chill.
Sweet.
That's the majority. That's what I would say my major experience is, not the other part. The other part happens, but the major experience is what he described.
I think this stems from, as Steve Harvey says, hate and bad stuff is so loud, Jody, but the good stuff is real quiet. It's almost like wealth. Like wealth is just so quiet and boring.
Mm-hmm.
But then when y'all earning money, it's like it's so loud and it's so exciting and stuff. But then when you the real money makers, real quiet.
Yeah, that's so true.
Crazy.
That's so true.
Buying houses with Moriel. That's a cool name. I've got 2 properties for rent rooms in Atlanta. 1 4-bedroom and 11 bedroom. He lives in it. Good for you. Holy, I bet he caking on that. 11 rooms. Sheesh.
Taking on that.
Yep. Never had a problem renting my rooms. Just rent the house, rent the rooms. No need to give out too much information. Keep it simple. I think that's what you were saying, Jody, wasn't it?
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
LaShawn Tribble, at the risk of revealing myself as a neophyte, can you please tell me a succinct list of the documents that we need to complete a deal? I know you have mountains of emails, so I'm asking now. That's going to be Jody on that. Jody, I'm telling you, man, people want to know about this stuff. I've been asking Jody to help me put together a course. Listen, y'all, please let me know if y'all want Jody to put together a course on this stuff. I'm like, man, that would be, to me, will be priceless. And here we are right here, people asking questions. If y'all want Jody to put together a course, put that in the chat. If it's something you're interested in, please. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I can't actually, I'm on his phone.
Oh.
I can't actually see. I need to get my glasses.
Any specific documents other than the lease? LaShawn wants to know, one of our members. I know you can't get, we've been on here for an hour already. Anything other than the lease that she wants to know some of the documents?
Okay. Yeah, really just the you could do a room rental lease. I don't really get too technical with it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but the truth is, if someone is renting a room and they are not paying, whether you have a lease or not, have payment
Don't
history.
matter.
Doesn't matter. You go to court.
Don't matter.
So it's really just cool
I
to have.
had to I had to evict people. Shoot, I bought the house squatters, man. They got the same. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't even need a lease.
yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah. So I don't really, I do sometimes put things in writing just because, but yeah, it's not something.
Well, we've got to tighten that up. If we want to give people that, we definitely want them to have something. If somebody's new going in, Jody, don't we?
Yeah, I would agree. That's what I said. Like, I don't, like I said, I get a little loose with it sometimes because I've been doing it so long, and it's not as scary to me as other people. But I would definitely recommend, you know, doing the leases and written agreement.
So, Jody, if you were to put together a course, we could give them a room rental lease, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely. We have that for sure.
Okay, all right, cool. Round up. A few more last few questions, and we'll let them go. G Murray. Oh, I forgot. I gotta pay the bills. Thursday, y'all. We got the free private money masterclass. Don't forget to join us this Thursday. I will be showing you how I have raised millions of dollars in private money just by opening my mouth and having the right tools. I'm going to go over all that this Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you don't miss it. It is free. I'm not even charging you, okay? And Dutch's Real Estate Wholesaling for Beginners training course will be opening this Friday, 12 o'clock. This Friday at 12. It's an honor to work with Dutch to bring this training to you. He did over 20 deals his first year in business. Dutch knows exactly how this text blasting technology works, and he covers that into this in this course as well. If you're looking to get started in wholesaling, Dutch is your man. Dutch is your man. I've grown to be one of his good friends with Dutch over the past few years. G. Murray, I'm not sure if this was already explained, but how are you advertising, Joe?
But to be honest with you, see, I've been at it so long, it's really a lot of word of mouth for me now. So I don't do much advertisement, but Craigslist is a good way of getting the word out. If you're looking for someone wanting a room, they're pretty popular. They have a large. If you look at Craigslist at any given time, any city, is 2,000, 2,500 people like
Yeah.
posting or looking for rooms. So
Yep.
so that's a
Yep.
good. But word of mouth, when you're doing as a business something is really my thing right now.
Yep. Oh, he's talking there. How much is the course? Healing. Not quite sure. It's going to be affordable, brother. And we're going to give you some super discount on the first over the weekend for Mother's Day. So it'll be affordable. It won't be any much more than all our stuff is affordable here with the Roundup, my brother. We don't try to hit people in the head, but it's Dutch is in control of that. He has to come up with his own price. So, but whatever it is, it'll be affordable. Jody, final words for somebody who wants to get into the weekly room rental business.
I would say definitely it has to me, what I call greater good business. I like to do what you call greater good businesses.
Greater good.
Greater good business. Basically, where you're making money, but it's for the greater good, so it's helping, but you're also making money. So I would highly recommend it because, it's just another form of Airbnb. It's been around forever, but if we can all, make it popular like Airbnb, help people and make some money, then that's great,
Yep.
That's pretty much what I would say. It's definitely it's not as bad as people make it sound, as dangerous as people make it sound. Like I said, I'm not saying it's not a higher risk, but high risk, high reward,
That's true, bro.
But it's
Round up.
But
Wait, say Jody?
It's not that high of risk. I don't want to leave it on that note, high risk, but it's definitely, you don't want to, downplay that it's, people with bad, credit and stuff like that.
I deal with bad credit people all the time on my lease options, Joe. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I find that if I give them, I'm like, dude, they're looking for people to give them an opportunity. And to me, they treat me better because they don't have a lot of their opportunities are slim. It's like the person with good credit and a big down payment and they got a great job. they can pick out of the marketplace whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
But the person that has limited options, when they find somebody that's willing to treat them with dignity, respect, empathy, compassion, and humility, dude, it's like they treat me, they treat you like a king. My experience, Joe. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I feel the exact same way.
They treat you like a king. Like, this dude really isn't trying to judge me. He ain't looking down on me. He ain't thinking I'm a piece of crap. He ain't thinking I'm coming from the gut. I don't. I mean, you just like me, or we're just having a conversation. We're just transacting business. That's all I'm doing.
Fact.
Jody, thank you. Thank you for coming on, my friend. This is really cool. Round up. Make sure you smash that like button if we have poured into you tonight. Subscribe to the channel. Share this information with anybody else that's looking to get into the real estate business and weekly room rentals. I get tongue twisted. Weekly room rentals. Cash for rooms. So you'll be hearing more from Jody as we put together these questions here. Round up. Please put your questions that you have about weekly room rentals so I can help Jody come up with some type of a course or content to bring to you to help you make more money in your real estate. All right, round up. I'll see you on the next video. Private Money Masterclass Thursday. Duchess Trading comes out Friday. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, peace.